all right. It's okay.
Oh
Okay.
no, that does
All
not
right.
reassure me.
No, it's nothing bad, man.
Hey, it was Jason's idea. Just saying, it was
It
Jason's
was
idea.
my idea. So
I
Oh
am
no.
so with that admission of guilt, welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Durio, your host, as always. Back after a week hiatus, the OG Beanied one, Gerard Barrera.
Oh, I think I know what that surprise was. Ew. What did I have? Did I have a minor replacement last episode?
no. There's no replacement, but I mean,
Three. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. I have to watch next episode, the last week's episode. I can't believe I missed that. That's so funny.
Yes, you had.
Hello,
you had three.
nerds. Hello. That's so funny.
We are sans the baby faced one, as he is out in Florida
yeah,
for his
good luck,
archery
good luck.
tournament. So
I hope he does well, man.
that is
Good
going
luck,
on
dude.
for him starting tomorrow. So good luck to him.
Yep.
And then we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, our maitre d' services, the man with the couch. Oh, the mastermind beanied one, the Lion's Mane, Jason Belidio.
How's it going, guys? How's it going tonight? I know we're missing Theo, but you know, man, I hope he does well. Like, you know,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I always root for him, man. So shout out.
We'll be
to
rooting
Theo
for
on
you. We'll
that.
be praying for you. We'll
Yes,
be manifesting that for you.
Yes,
Just
sir.
do well.
So how you guys doing?
Well, it's the weather's been up and down.
Yeah,
So
SoCal
weird.
lately.
So
Like,
weird here, dude.
a couple days ago it rained, then it was just like almost 90.
It was 85. Yeah, it was 85, 86 degrees one day.
Then today
Then it was
it's like,
gloomy.
Today is
and-
back at it where it's like just barely hitting 60, and we're just like, dude, what the
Yeah.
heck, man?
Wow.
It looks like it's gonna rain, like start pouring.
All right, again,
Yep.
like
It's
out of
weird.
nowhere. So weird. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
other than that, just been hanging out, just chilling, no work,
Mm-hmm.
hanging, cleaning.
Hanging.
I've just been focusing on work. I've just been working as much as I can, and
Sir, you gotta get
and,
that money, make that cheddar,
yeah, just hanging. Yup. Gotta
Well,
get back to it.
Jason,
that bread.
the store you should be transferring to opened up last week.
Oh, I know. I saw the.
Uh.
There was a posting actually at our work
Ooh,
that said
yeah.
it was like around Boulder, Colorado-ish,
Yep.
and I was like,
Oh, no way.
It is.
Hmm.
It is like 5-7 minutes from my house.
Bro. I mean,
Wow.
Just saying.
If I transferred out there, man, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
How's the weather
Theo's
out
out
there?
here. It's nice. It was in the 70s today. You know, we're gonna get some rain
Okay.
tonight.
But
you
you know,
know.
there's that little white thing called snow that I have no idea what that's all about. You know, like I still wonder what the heck is
It's-
a snow day.
It's snow day. We don't have
Well,
any.
plus,
of
we
those.
still got the beach. We still got the beach here. We got the ocean.
No.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good, bro.
I mean, you do have Knicks and Frank and Sons and all that.
I mean,
So
I
there
feel
are.
like but I feel like there's like some hidden corners in the Colorado community.
Oh yeah, there
you
is.
know?
There
You
is. But hey, I got
I'd be
some.
hidden in all those woods and all that brush.
know?
But today I will say this: I made my doctor very, very happy.
No.
He was a very happy
Mm.
camper because I had my yearly checkup, which all my heart stuff, I have that in 2 months, 2.5 months for my heart checkup stuff. But I have lost a little over 10% of my body mass in the last year.
10%.
Nice.
Yes.
Very
sir.
good.
Yep.
That's
I was
really
in
good, man.
I was in the up mid 220s weight wise, and I was down to officially 202.5 this morning at the doctor's. My blood
Ooh.
pressure was down 30 points.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's just a hop, skipping away from
Sweet.
getting to under 200, man.
Yeah,
man.
I'm at that spot where it's like it drops a couple pounds and gains a couple pounds, like drops a couple pounds. It's like that little tiny like new plateau, but he said, don't beat myself up over it because
It'll
it's
happen.
really hard to lose the amount of body mass that I did, you know, to get even further down, you know, as you get older in life is a lot harder to do. So it's okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be there. Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll be there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's-
Jason. We'll just leave him to the old stuff. It's okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You are how far behind me?
I'm a good handful start away.
Define that. Define a handful.
I'm still pretty spry. I'm only 38. I'm not
You
dead.
got 2 years. You got 2 years until 40, dude.
That's so jacked up, man.
That's so true. That's
I'm
so
not
true.
dead.
I ain't dead either.
I
But
know,
you know.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I know. No. It's true, dude. Like,
Yeah.
stuff starts to slow doang, bro.
Mhm.
It sucks.
But he did make a joke. He's like, hey, look, the murmur's still there.
Oh, dang.
I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
but don't worry, it's still there. Yeah.
it's
Oh,
still there. you know.
thanks.
So
Darn.
let's talk some news real quick before we get into the night's discussion, which is kind of Zelda's legacy, especially leading into the
Ooh,
launch
this
of
week.
Tears of the Kingdom on
Yes.
Friday. You know, it's been 37 years of Zelda.
Jeez.
Oh,
That's
and there's been a
unbelievable,
new
man.
theory out on Breath of the Wild too.
Which I plan to discuss that theory,
Sweet. Okay,
or
cool.
one of the
Yeah.
theories. So, but let's talk about some news in the
Yeah.
gaming world. First, well, movie side, writer strike is still happening.
Yep.
So still support them. And hopefully they're successful because guess what? The actors, the SAG-AFTRA union is right behind them. So they're the next step for negotiations. So we'll see what happens with that. You know, if you think Hollywood shuts down because there's no writers, Hollywood shuts down because there's no actors. So you kind of need both. So, you know, hopefully, you know, this doesn't last too long. Because there's some brilliant writers out there making some brilliant shows now. For
Marvel
all the
needs
streaming
to catch
platforms.
up on their, you know, stage 15 or phase 23. You know,
You know, and
just
you know, and then Star Wars needs to take a you know page from Star Trek and you know give fans what they really want.
Yeah.
And that's the best meme that I've seen out of everything is that it was what Star Wars fans wanted, and it's a picture of Han, Luke, Leia, and Lando and the Millennium Falcon, kind of like a little mini reunion. And it's like what Star Trek fans got, and it's like the entire next gen crew. So
Oh,
but-
that's sad.
I mean, it is because you know we don't have Carrie Fisher, and you know.
I mean, it was just it was the films that suffered. It was. I mean,
Yeah.
The characters themselves were actually quite beloved. Rey
Oh.
is still beloved. It's just sad that like the movies themselves, and the problem is that I think that the definitive consensus for this last trilogy,
Ooh.
even compared to 1, 2, and 3, the Clone Wars and Revenge of the
Mhm.
Sith, that still had its charm. These felt that they were all over the place, except for Force Awakens, which had its promise, but because it really stemmed on nothing but
Mhm.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then the next two movies, Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, whatever, just
I mean,
petered out and just
it was,
weren't
I
at the
do-
level of the caliber of the other three. Also, because George Lucas was a part of those three.
Yep.
He had some input. You know, so it's
yeah.
you know the source material or whoever is like with it, like I would say Favreau and Filoni, they need to be involved. Is that Austin? Oh, hey, Austin, how's it going? What's up, baby?
So
Thank you for joining.
you know, I think what's funny is like we wanted great things, and I still enjoy Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi. I still enjoy them, and but in some ways, it was like To quote Hot
But
Shots, I
would say, honestly,
we got New
dude,
Hope Part 2.
yeah, but honestly, dude, I would say give them a rewatch because, like, man, Jedi kind of like angers me even more now. And even
no, I
Rise,
said I
like
still enjoy.
Rise, kind of. Don't get me wrong, they were enjoyable, but rewatching them, there were more and more problems from Jedi and Rise to me, and like especially how certain characters were written.
Mhm.
It was just
Oh, don't get me wrong. They're full of their problem points because you had J.J. Abrams directing Force Awakens, and you had Ryan Johnson doing Last Jedi, and then you had J.J. coming back to do Rise of Skywalker. So Ryan decided he wanted to go do his own thing and not do J.J.'s whole plot line. So they had to do weird stuff to get it all back on track. So,
yeah.
But that being
They were
said,
just
going
all
back
over
to
the
kind of what we
place.
talked about,
That's
you
why
know,
you can't. It's the story had potential, and like I said way back when they were coming out, when we were talking about it, sometimes I just don't want that.
For the biggest problem, and what Disney should have really been stuck on is like, if J.J. Abrams, like, if you're going to take this, you need to do it. Like, you need to do all three. You cannot let someone else take the reins. That's a whole other different direction. That's a whole perspective.
Yep.
Like,
Well, I just wanted
because
that.
he started strong with Force Awakens, but the only problem was it was just they hit a lot of that nostalgia part, but nostalgia with a little sprinkle of new. So we wanted to see a little bit more of, okay, what's to come. And then the second movie, no Abrams. Why?
Yeah, then that's what I'm saying. It's like the nostalgia factor, fine, like have it in that first one, but then at the same time, like once it goes on to the second two,
Yep.
dude, you gotta have something that just all of a sudden just gets at people, like I was saying, I wanted that twist where, all of a sudden you find out like, oh, actually Rey's going to the dark side, and Ben's going to the good, like to the light, and you're
then,
just like, wait, what?
And like,
after that
and in the
whole
meantime,
ordeal.
maybe have Finn like start learning to be a Jedi, or have him like go in any type of direction.
Yeah,
any direction whatsoever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, because I mean, he just seems like a secondary character, and they're trying to push him, but he's just there. Like he just.
The problem was that he was popular. Like, the people wanted to see him pushed, but he just, for some reason, Disney didn't push him as a character.
That's a whole nother. And rumor is that Finn is going to be a full-fledged Jedi come Rey's movie. So they may look to correct.
That's a rumor. But, yeah, hopefully.
But
yeah,
that said, I just want to say, and especially with Austin in here now, right? Because he's part of the Actors Guild and stuff like that, is that we do have, our support is with the writers, because they're fighting for some things that, if they can get them, is going to open up some things for SAG-AFTRA's new negotiations that are going to be coming up soon. And hopefully the actors themselves can get residuals for streaming and whatnot.
Well, the biggest, that's a great byproduct. The biggest thing for the writers is because for years already, the metric between the streaming, it still hasn't really been determined. So the writers for years haven't been receiving residuals, because it's, they've been told like, well, no, you don't deserve it. Or and they're not getting paid what they're worth when it comes to certain projects.
Yeah, they're getting paid 46%,
especially when they're on for weeks on end.
Broadcast. Yeah. So I hope it all works out, because then it gives ammunition for the actors and stuff as well, because everybody deserves to get paid. Frankly, when you've got CEOs of these movie picture companies that are making $250 million a year, and they're claiming they don't have enough money to pay everybody. If your company has enough to pay a CEO $250 million, you've got the money. Yeah. So absolutely, definitely understand that, Austin. You know what? You gotta rest up that pearly little voice of yours.
You do you, boo.
Those silky chords. So with that, let's talk into some of the gaming stuff. Last week, Phil Spencer went on Kind of Funny XCast and actually answered some very hard questions by the Kind of Funny guys in regards to why Redfall failed. He took the responsibility for that. Why Xbox is failing
in general,
with the amount of in general.
With
he even admitted. Yeah,
I sent you that video on TikTok.
Yeah, I watched the entire interview.
That's the bit. Oh, the whole interview. Oh, okay.
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
brutal. He even admitted that the Xbox One generation was the worst generation for them to fail. And the fact that they're in third place.
And that they're
and
on that verge of just like.
And it's not really consoles aren't really their forte, but at some point, right, when you look at PlayStation versus Xbox and Nintendo, right, when you look at Sony, PlayStation is their most important division. It's what's making them a lot of money, along with their glass division, which does the camera lenses and stuff like that, right? But their electronics division is horrible. It loses them money. Whereas Microsoft, Xbox, that division is losing them a little bit of money compared into everything else that Microsoft does. So I think the studios that they keep acquiring, they need to start producing. Like, some of these studios have been put together for many years. We had, they announced Perfect Dark a couple of years ago, and there's nothing since then, from the initiative. But they need to do it in quality. And, I feel bad for the Xbox only crowd because, it's been mediocre or failed game after mediocre after, failed game from their first party studios.
Yeah. And we've waited that 2 years. We've waited that 2 years that they said, oh, you know what? We're not going to have any real exclusives till 2 years later. And it's been 2 years. And what do you have to show? What do you have to show? The one that you have that is supposed to be the big one right here, Redfall,
didn't hit.
It
fell. No. Their original that was supposed to shoot them, sprout them up, was Infinite Halo. Yep. They put all their cards on that until they can get those exclusives out, and that didn't happen either.
I mean, but Halo is going to be Halo. Like, it's just like getting another Assassin's Creed. It's just going to be there. It's going to be all right.
No. The projections were supposed to be much bigger because this anticipation was supposed to be a new kind of groundbreaking Halo, and fans were anticipating it.
Yep.
So the letdown that really hurt them too.
Yeah. So overall, it's just been mistakes, and I love Phil Spencer, what he's done for the gaming community, from gaming as a whole, introducing Game Pass. He is fantastic. And I love listening to that man talk, because one, he's passionate about games. So when he's actually talking about things not failing, I love hearing the man talk. He's super passionate about just gaming as a whole. He is super supportive of games that come out from PlayStation and Nintendo.
The community in general, like when he's just talking about the gaming community in general, he seems like a fan as well.
But he also takes responsibilities for Xbox's shortcomings as well. Austin, it wasn't your fault for voicing a Marine in the game. Your lines were great. It just, the game itself wasn't good.
Yeah, bro. You were fine. It was just the promotion.
When you look at PlayStation, even from an optics perspective, they're not the star child either, because less than a week after announcing that they acquired Firewalk Studios to do an exclusive PS5 multiplayer game, they turned around and closed Pixel Opus this week.
Yeah.
Which Concrete Genie is the big one.
Yep.
That they did, which was a fantastic.
But that's the thing, though, dude. What other games did they do?
They did a few. Let me pull it up. They did quite a couple.
but
That's what I'm
Concrete Genie
saying,
was
like-
just
Well, yeah, but even then, that was an independent like
They did their first one
like Star
was
that came out.
Yep. So they did Entwined, which was on the PS3, PS4, and the Vita. It was the one where you had the two kind of like dragons almost that you used the dual sticks to kind of control them, and at the end you kind of got them to merge. Then they did Concrete Genie, and then they had a project in the works that was in collaboration with Sony Pictures Animation. That's now been
That
canceled.
was-
So they weren't around long.
No.
They
No.
started up in 2014. They did Entwine. They did
No,
Concrete Genie.
and
now they're
joining Sony was probably their saving grace after Concrete Genie, because that got them a lot of notoriety, but the sales were probably something that helped the company. But signing with Sony was probably their saving grace.
So I think for me though, it's just, and a lot of the community out there, I get it from a business perspective. I absolutely get it from a business dollar perspective. But when you look at the optics and you're complaining that you're going to not have, if Activision is bought by Xbox, you're going to be at a complete disadvantage. Yet you turn around, you buy a studio to make a multiplayer game, and then you turn around and shutter a single party studio. It just, from an optics perspective, it doesn't look good. It makes it look like that truly Jim Ryan. And what was the big?
I think the big thing is that I think the big thing that they're doing is trying to scramble in case they do lose the Activision deal, because if they do, the whole reason they're fighting that is to keep Call of Duty, because that's a huge revenue for them.
It makes them a crap ton of money.
Venture. Yeah. But also that money helps them venture off to do their exclusives. Like, I guess from what they said, from what the last few articles or stories that have come out about that have said, that because Sony had that deal with Call of Duty, like that is the reason why we got like Uncharted 4 and like Horizon and a few of the other games, is because they were able to put some of that revenue to those exclusives. So them cutting that single party, the Concrete Genie party, I get it. It sucks. I would also understand, like, why not have them merge and be with another company and work on another project? But it sucks. But I also get it too.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like I said, I get the business side of it. I really do. But when you just look at it from an overall perspective, the optics just don't look great. It just makes it looks like you're just going for the multiplayer route.
They're scrambling, and honestly, I think they're preparing for the worst if they do lose. And in order for that to happen, unfortunately, things like this is going to happen, and it really sucks.
I mean, it did.
It's
Genie
unfortunate.
did come out before the whole pandemic and everything like that, but at the same time, like,
but that's even worse, because look at the numbers when it came out.
Well, I mean, they were working on another project, and obviously with all that going on, it's a little difficult, like with the logistics, to try and piece everything together without being
and plus
studio.
So what was the project? Because also the project could have been just bad. That's what I'm saying.
They canceled
the project itself could have been like, this is what you spent your time on. Like, okay, we have to reassess. Like, you never know.
And real quick, looking at like Concrete Genie, right? You look at, it was nominated for a ton of awards.
Yeah.
You know,
but the sales and the numbers, like it got a lot of notoriety. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean,
but that can only help a company go so far.
Yeah.
But it did review well. Like it had the publishers, some of them didn't rank it as well. But you know what? It was a fantastic game. And it had a great,
and it had its following, and that was the thing. But it was enough to push them a little bit more forward. But that sucks, dude. That's it always sucks to hear about
That's what you have to know, though. Like, you don't know what the project is, and it at the same time, it could be the next big thing. It could also not be. It could also be like something.
And that's the other thing. That was going to be their first collaboration with Sony.
But again, it's how much does Sony put their finger into the pot? You know, versus how much did they before, you know? And that's why
Yeah.
a lot of times when these indies, I love them because they follow their own rules. But once you start signing on with somebody, let's say Sony in this case, you kind of have to play by their rules a little bit, you know, like you have to bend to what they kind of want to see. And they're like, okay, well,
It's kind of
it's
like
not
an
looking
independent
good
movie
here.
to signing
Well,
with
here's
a
the thing, though.
studio
It was
and doing a
a
studio movie.
So Pixel Opus, though, was created by PlayStation Studios. It was an in-house studio they spun up. So it wasn't like an indie studio that got brought into the fold.
Well, then that makes even more sense that was an internal studio that they could cut costs. I mean, that just makes even more sense. It just sucks.
Well, but maybe the project's getting pushed onto somebody else though too.
Yeah,
you know,
that too.
It's a possibility. Like, you know, even because since we don't know about it, the project could just be taken as a whole since it's internally moving on over, you know.
Yeah, it was a 9-man. It was a 9-man team. So
maybe that whole 9-man just got absorbed into something else, and like they say they shut it down, but you know, just like how Platinum Studios came about, a whole bunch of people went over from what's the ones that did Devil May Cry before, and then they made their own studio and made Bayonetta that way. And you're like, oh, you know, maybe they just got
it just didn't happen this time.
Well, no, maybe it got absolved into another company. Don't know. You know.
So
that's true. That's true.
So the project goes with it.
Yeah. So while we're discussing sales and all of that, Nintendo brought out their numbers today. And updated things. So they are now seeing a decline in the sales of Switches, which, go figure, it's 6 years old.
No.
The hardware, as much as I love my Switch, the hardware is showing its age.
No, and also too, everybody's going back outside, man. Like, look at that peak. Yeah. Look at that peak. The 2019 and 2021. Look at that.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
2020, 21, part of 22.
What were you doing?
Here's the thing, though, Jason. Look at it, though. Look at the amount of players annually playing. I mean, it is still increasing. It was 114 million this last year. So
I mean, like all those people that came in from the 2021, you know, they're still playing. They're like, okay, you know what, I got it now. Why not?
So look at these numbers, though, right? Scarlet and Violet sold 20.7 million. Splatoon sold another 10 million. You know, down the previous release titles, Mario Kart sold another 8. Animal Crossing another 3.6. You know, Smash Brothers another 2.9. Like, that game is done. You know, and it's still selling. So, you know, and look at the portion of digital to, you know, downloadable, you know, that stuff. So when you look at the grand scheme of things overall, right, the Switch has sold 125.62 million units since inception. Do we think it catches the DS by end of this fiscal year? Do we think it sells by the end of their fiscal year? So it'll be through March of 24. March of 24.
Oh yeah, easy, no problem.
Oh, March of 24.
Yeah, that's the end of their fiscal year.
Yeah, I think so.
No doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? A 25 million?
Yeah.
Unit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
29 million. You know,
it'll make it. Damn,
now
dude,
they're
that's
saying
epic,
that,
bro.
Think about that. I mean, you look at the numbers, right? You look at the DS, right? Ton of hardware sales, software sales still 9.48 million units. But look what this has done. The Switch,
yeah.
But and when you look at their games, right? One in what? Just shy of 3
Animal Crossing. Talk about the COVID peak. Animal Crossing,
and
COVID
it's still
peak.
going.
Seriously,
it's still going.
That's so insane.
That's what I'm saying. Like
but you know what? This is why this was the best timing for that game. I just want to mention this too, because one, Animal Crossing, and you can confirm this, Matt. It was more of a niche game where like it had its following. I feel like it had
Yeah.
its following. It wasn't as big as it was this game. And I think a lot of new players, a lot of new people bought that game and became like hardcore players.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Because I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like it already was its own franchise and like it had its following, but like, dude, that game blew up. It was ridiculous. Like, dude, there were people like selling extras on like Craigslist. Like, that's how far it went.
So here, let's just put it in perspective, okay? So
like, you had to go as far as Craigslist. Like, maybe I can get one on Craigslist.
Yeah, right. So Animal Crossing back in 01 on the GameCube sold 2.27 million units. Animal Crossing Wide World for the DS sold 11.75. City Folk for the Wii was 4.32 million. Then Animal Crossing New Leaf, Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS sold 13.02 million units. You look at Happy Home Designer for the 3DS, which was kind of like a little offshoot. It wasn't really like, it was kind of a main title, but not really. 3.5 million.
Yep.
And then there was Amiibo Festival, which is another one of those side shoot weird ones that sold 0.49 million. And then you have the Switch at what we are now, 42.21 million.
Insane, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
dude,
like
part of it was fueled by COVID. Absolutely.
A lot of it was. Oh my God.
Agree with you, but it's a great game.
But that's also what I'm saying is like it wasn't just a fluke. It's already established. It was just it has to be one of those like most perfect timing of releases.
Absolutely.
Where but there is it purposely gained new fans, new gamers. Oh yeah, dude. Because I mean, like look at the past numbers. Like they like the highest, 13 million. 10 million?
13 million on the
13
DS.
million off the DS.
13. And that's that was our highest number. So it had its own niche following.
Oh yeah.
But not with this game. Like this game set itself apart where like it could be a much bigger franchise now, which is great.
I hope for the next Switch we get Animal Crossing. Yes,
because of that bump. Because dude, remember all of the publishing for Switch.
Jerry, when's the last time you played?
He quit.
No, I don't play it, but I don't stray away from the promotion that they put into it. Like, dude, they contracted Brie Larson for commercials because she became a fan.
She actually plays it.
Because she plays it, dude. Like they restructured promotion and added that game into their promotional lineup.
Leave us Animal Crossing fans out of this. Okay?
Yo. I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is like it got such a resurgence, like such a huge fan base resurgence from COVID. They can't ignore it. Like now, like it became like a new franchise because of that.
Oh yeah,
and everybody's clamoring for more content. Like if they really wanted to,
I don't doubt they're going to come out with another game, or I would say another game they're probably going to come out with.
So, but let's look at this. So, right, is Mario Kart?
That's insane.
Almost 1 in 3. Yeah, but
Mario Kart
54. Hey, just because you hate that, Smash Brothers still going strong. 31 million. Still. Breath of the Wild, 30 million. Pokemon Sword and Shield, 25.82. Mario Odyssey still going strong. I mean, these titles aren't slouch, so
no. They're good numbers. They're all great numbers.
Though. Just remember, they are old.
Yeah.
That's how solid Nintendo has that Mario franchise, especially with the movie out now. Especially with the movie out, those that don't know.
But let's talk. Let's talk about one of their other big franchises in Zelda, right? 37 years going. We have Tears of the Kingdom coming out. So let's look at these mainline games, none of these offshoots like whatever it was, Link's Crossbow Training that they came out with. These are main games, right? So going back to 86, so we have original Zelda, then you've got Zelda 2, Link to the Past. The first issuance of Link's Awakening. Then you have Ocarina of Time, Then you have Link's Awakening DX, which came out for the Game Boy Color.
Oh,
You have Majora's Mask. Then Oracle Seasons Ages on the Game Boy. Four Swords on the Game Boy Advance. Wind Waker. Four Swords
Oh,
Adventure.
I love that.
Minish Cap. Twilight Princess. Phantom Hourglass. Spirit Tracks. Ocarina of Time coming out, reissued again for the 3DS.
But
You have
that
Skyward Sword for its first issuance. You have Wind Waker HD coming out on the Wii, which Nintendo, give me Wind Waker on my Switch.
yes, please. Please.
And then you have A Link Between Worlds. Again, another one for my Switch, please. You just port it. Don't need anything. Don't need to update or anything. Just port it. Then you have Majora's Mask for the 3DS, Triforce Heroes, Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U. Bring that one to the Switch. You have the reissue of Link's Awakening for the Switch, which looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Preview on it. And then they brought out Skyward Sword HD, and then we've got Tears of the Kingdom, coming
You want to put Hyrule Warriors
Friday.
in there?
That's
No, we don't.
that's
we
a
don't need to
hybrid.
do that.
That's an offshoot.
But it's still canon, though, bro. It's still canon.
no, it's not considered canon.
Is it not?
That,
It is not considered canon.
that is a sister game of Dynasty Warriors. Let's just be
no,
real.
is-
because it's supposed to be the prequel to Breath of the Wild, isn't it?
No. So Hyrule Warriors, the first one, is on its own, completely not relevant to anything.
Yeah,
of
but
Zelda.
Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity, yes, that is supposed to be the
Yeah.
prequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But let's put it in perspective on how crazy this can be. So I'm busting out the Hyrule Astoria. So, and this,
Story
I think,
time,
Jerry,
folks. Story
I
time.
think it's story time. So, Jerry, I think this is going to play into kind of what we might have been talking about theory wise. So let's give this a second. So let's look at the timeline. So we know it all starts with Skyward Sword, which a theory is that we may be going kind of looping back to Skyward Sword again because of the islands in the sky.
God.
But then you had Minish Cap, Four Swords, and then it gets to Ocarina of Time. And Ocarina of Time is where the timelines all get screwed up. This is where people have some problems with Breath of the Wild. But they also, there's another theory on that one we'll talk about. But like, for instance, Hero is defeated. So if we go off in that timeline where Link loses that fight to Ganon in Ocarina of Time, that splits off and goes to Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening, also Link Between Worlds. If the hero is triumphant, then it splits off into two different timelines. You have the child era, which is Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Four Swords. Or B, there's the adult era. So the child era was Sacred Realm remains protected. Adult era is Ganondorf is sealed. And in that case, we get he gets resurrected. Hyrule is sealed and then flooded. So we get Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and then all of this from the theories that people are starting to talk about is that Breath of the Wild is the convergence of all the timelines.
Right.
Which makes kind of sense because when you look at Wind Waker, right? If Breath of the Wild wasn't in that timeline, how do you explain where, Onset Island is in Breath of the Wild? You're finding rock salt in places that there's no ocean. So you have to have had the flood. So Jason,
I think some of the similarities. I think some of the. I think some of the similarities to the look of the villains too, because I think the Bogoblins have more of a similarity to Wind Waker. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If I remember that correctly.
Yep.
And then the jungle area and all that is like remnants of Skyward Sword.
It's more Twilight Princess.
I'm sorry, Twilight Princess. I'm sorry about you. That's right.
Yeah.
If I'm getting those mixed up. Yes, Twilight Princess.
Again, that's how easy it is to jumble up all these timelines and everything and whatnot. But
so technically, they're creating a new timeline, and this timeline is all the converging timelines.
Everything. Just be done with it.
That's what these games are. It's just
what
more and more
theorizing is
convoluted and crazy.
I'm just wondering when Doctor Strange shows up. Like,
right?
just Jesus Christ, Zelda. Like, I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, my wife will play all those games. I will watch her play all those games. But you know, when Spider-Man shows up, man, oh man, that's it. Like I am
It's
done.
like it's still confusing.
Yeah, no,
It's still
it's
like,
still
but I think this is their like their answer to like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
they're kind of tired of all the timeline like
Yeah,
talk.
they
I think
have
this is
to.
why they're like, no, this is
We have to
like
bring
their
it back
kind of
together.
restart.
We got to bring
Yeah.
this back together because, like, again, when you have the hero triumphs or the hero's defeat, you know, you just have to
Yeah.
you have to say, you know what, like we've gone through so many different zones that we just need to bring it back
It's
together and move the
choose a
story
lane,
forward.
stick to
Move the
it.
story
This is the
forward.
timeline we're sticking with.
Yeah, move the story forward. You know, like
Yeah.
figure out what's going to happen next for Zelda, what's going to happen next for Link, what's going to happen next for Ganon, versus just like, okay, let's replay this, but in this section. Or and since it's all scattered up, you know, like
Mhm.
let's get some continuity back into it. Or like I don't mind if they go back and do those unanswered questions, but hey, we got to move forward, bro. Like otherwise these retro games are going to be just like why even try? Why even play them? Because
Yeah.
you're just going to have
Oh,
you're
what?
going to retcon this one, you're going to retcon that one, you're going to be like, you know what? Doctor Strange is going to come in and just, you know, send Link to another timeline because
Okay.
that's what the heck.
JJ Abrams, you stay out of this, sir.
You're right. Like
Um,
or you're gonna see the Millennium Falcon just fly through the sky and he's like, oh my god, oh no, Disney's just
So
gonna
when
get
you-
a piece of that and then
Mhm.
over.
So
I think
ridiculous.
So when we look at things from the grander scheme of things, right, is that we know, you know, Nintendo has Mario.
Yep.
You know, that's their big game, but then everybody knows Zelda.
Yeah.
You know, whether they play the game or not, they know Zelda. So when you look at the impact that Zelda has had on gaming, regardless of the screwed up timelines,
Mhm.
regardless of them trying something new with mechanics like Skyward Sword, and where you're using the Wiimote to actually swing your sword, which at the time that's all they really could kind of do because that's just the mechanics of the Wii. And you look at even the titles they've come out for the DSs and stuff, is when you look at the impact that Zelda has had, would we have some of the games that we do now if it had not been for its success in its fantasy telling along the lines of like Final Fantasy?
No, I think it would have fell into the obscurity of like Metroid. I think it would have been.
Hold on, you take that words back, sir.
No,
Metroid is not obscure.
No, dude. I mean, no.
are we gonna go back to
feelings
that
aside,
last week,
bro.
man? We're going back to last week. I mean, like
all
she's
feelings
she's
aside,
a supporting
like,
actress, bro. Like she
dude,
supports.
it was an obscure franchise,
Nintendo.
bro. But the reason it was
Very
kept
missed that
alive was for its
conversation.
fan base. Was that last week?
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
man. Like,
Jason called Sam as best supporting actress.
she
for
is best supporting
Nintendo.
actress, bro. Like,
Oh man, that's rough because that's kind of
she's
true.
always the
That is rough.
bridesmaid, never the bride, bro.
That is rough. Oh, but she's gonna get her. She's getting her moment now. Like she's gonna have a much bigger moment, I think, in the future.
After how long?
I mean,
Absolutely. After a long hiatus, yes. But
we
no,
are getting Metroid Prime 4, and honestly, to Jerry's point, though, the highest game sales that have ever happened for Metroid, the top three are 2.90, so 2.9 million units sold of Metroid Dread. You had
That's number
2.84. That's number one. You had 2.84 million units sold for Metroid Prime, the original on the GameCube.
Okay.
And then 2.73 for the original
Remastered?
on Nintendo. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, I get it. It is niche. It hasn't yes, she is the
But
bridesmaid.
Best supporting actress.
but that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, if Zelda
Yeah.
didn't have the trajectory that it did have,
Mhm.
I would think it would have fell in the niche area with Samus and Metroid, because it still had that appeal, and it was still hitting that market of the people wanting to do puzzles. So I think it still would have had its fan base. But
Definitely.
no, it caught on, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's just very popular because of it's Samus. Like that's it.
it's
Like the games, they are platform, so it's not like you're missing out on much from the Mario generation. But yeah, I think if Zelda wasn't there, I think Samus and Metroid series would be a little bit more higher up, but it still
You know what?
wouldn't
That's
be.
a that's a that's a good
Would
argument
not.
too.
It still would not be like,
Can
oh my
I?
goodness,
You
numbers.
don't think
I
one
don't
of
think so.
those may have shot up if Zelda wasn't like as big?
No.
Oh,
Not at
okay,
all.
okay.
I don't
Not
think so
until
either.
Pokemon. Like
I
you'll
don't
have
think so
Mario,
either,
and
but
then
I was
you'll
just
have
wondering,
Pokemon.
like,
So here's my thing is with Metroid. I mean, I love the series to death.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely love the series to death. But the earlier iterations had a way of just kicking your ass and not taking names.
Yeah.
Like it would beat you like, Foreman did back in the day, or, Muhammad Ali, and just leave you there on the mat, like, and then walk away. At least with Zelda, they baked in enough of a hand holding to move you from, like, even if you look at Link to, like, original Zelda was hard because you had to have the maps and stuff for it, right? But when you look at like Link to the Past, which is what really secured me with Zelda, is that there was enough hand holding to take you from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon and kind of teach you a little of the mechanics that you needed to advance in the game. So it wasn't like Metroid, where it's like, hey, we're just going to drop you here and you got to go figure it out.
Like, yeah.
yeah,
Here's your starting point. Okay, go.
Yeah. It tells you, hey, like, I'm playing Metroid Fusion right now, and it tells you, hey, you need to go to this sector, but that's it. Go to that sector and go have fun trying to figure it out. So that has been the challenge with Metroid. But then when you look at Metroid, right, look at all the types of Metroid. It spawned its own gaming category, Metroidvania games, and
Metroid
how
and
many
Castlevania.
tons and games have come around after that. So I think with Zelda, you saw that want for like a high fantasy type game, just that.
It's the adventure
Yeah.
that people go for, honestly.
And
because you have Mario, who is your platformer. You have Metroid, who is your Metroidvania, Castlevania. Those two created a genre together. And then you had, at that time, Mega Man, which was your jump and shoot man, like it was your bridge between Metroid and Mario. It was literally the bridge. And then you had Zelda, which was something completely different, because you were adventuring. You were
exploring.
You weren't stuck in this platformer that you're going from point A to point B and then go to the next stage, point A to point B. Zelda, you had to go from point A to point B to point C,
and back to point A.
And that's where,
and then back to C.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that's where people,
if you wanted to open door A and B to get items, whatever.
You don't reset. You don't reset the A to B cycle. You have to go A to B to A to C to D, back to A, and then you're caught up in that, like, adventuring, and
that's what created a whole new another genre too.
And that's why a lot of people jumped on it, and that's why people stay on it. Now there's a lot of games that are following suit, even like Mario, even like Metroid, that follow that suit, where like, okay, we have to have the player be more engaged, or like stop the linear 1-2 1-2 1-2. Like, let's have them actually venture for a little bit.
And they don't they've never rested on their laurels too when it comes to like mechanics and story, right? They've always pushed it. They've tried new things like Majora's Mask, which didn't resonate with everybody, and you had things like Breath of the Wild, same type of thing. You ditch that linear perspective of A to B to C, and just said, go have fun. The world is your oyster, so to speak.
They drop you at the start, they handhold you for 5-10 minutes, and then
then they kick you out of the house. It's like, you graduated high school,
you
get
figure
out.
out what
Go
you
out.
figure out what
go
you
on.
want to do.
Yep.
And then if something new happens, then they just give you a little help box, like, hey, you know what? This is what you can do too.
But I think
That's
when everything's said and done, right, is it Legend of Zelda is a legacy. Like, not a lot of franchises survive 10, 15 years, let alone 30 plus.
Yep.
Right? It's very, very few exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's very rare for a character to become an icon as big, and if not sometimes, depending on the decade or years, bigger than the head mascot for the actual company. Because I would say there were times when he was bigger than Mario.
Link
for
was
a
bigger
while.
than Mario. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but what were you going to say, Matt?
No, I was going to say, but when you look at it, right, is you look at Nintendo franchises, right, from a franchise perspective, not Mario Kart, because that's just a collaboration, it's a kart racer, but you look at Mario, Samus, Link, all surviving 30 plus years, as franchises. Yes, Metroid is the best supporting actress.
Mm-hmm.
Jason,
but it's also had its best supporting following, because it has not died throughout those decades.
It is not
hardly had any releases where it's still impacting numbers in sales, and it is still huge in interest. So it's going to have its moment. I think Metroid is going to have like a big moment where it's going to grow in fan base as well. And who knows? Maybe 4 is going to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. And I think even when you look at grand scheme of things, right? Yes, I think Master Chief, once Halo, God, I hope Halo comes back for the Halo fans. I really do.
I do too. I really do too. Because I feel bad for him as well.
But you look at, I think Master Chief is one of those ones that's in like that Hall of Fame, right? That is an iconic character that we all will know later on. I think Ratchet is another one. I think that, from a PlayStation perspective, as much as I love Uncharted, I don't know if Nathan Drake would stand the test of time. Like Mario, Samus, Zelda. They're
Sony really has more of a group mentality where it's like more known for its franchises. I wouldn't say it has a depictive, like, iconic character where it represents Sony.
But so let's do it this way: is if
anything, I would say Sackboy.
Sackboy would be more
new generation
with that. But I would say is
I agree, Jason.
If you put a picture up, right, of Mario, Master Chief, Samus, Link, Zelda, right, you put pictures up to anybody right now, they'll know exactly what those characters are.
Yeah.
Right. If you put a picture up of Nathan Drake, not
I'd say a quarter of them would know.
Quarter of them will know, and the rest are gonna be like, just some action adventure guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Aloy, it's the same thing.
Same.
So it's just, there's not a lot of franchises that are standing the test of time anymore because, they're moving on, and I get it, with Uncharted, Naughty Dog just wants to move forward and do different things. I get it. I absolutely get it. But, when you look at it, Zelda is so iconic. Link, that just the Hylian crest, anybody who's been around gaming, a Nintendo side or even over the decades, right? They see the Hylian crest and they're like, they know it's Zelda. You don't even need.
Yeah, they
Link
even know a symbol.
It's a symbol. It's like Superman, right? It's like Batman. You just know who it is from the symbol.
Yeah.
And with everything that they're getting ready to do with Tears of the Kingdom they're taking some bold steps. Just, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tears on Friday. And I want to say I hate you, Nintendo, for preloading Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch on Friday, because it has been taunting me, just taunting me, going, I'm on your system, but you can't play me. So
that's funny.
It is one of those things that Zelda has consistently over the years, same with Metroid and Mario, been part of my top 5 and top 10 for gaming franchises. Like, regardless, like, as much as I have my beef with Breath of the Wild, weapon durabilities and the lack of dungeons, I still enjoy the game. And it's like, it still has the essence and the soul of Zelda. My favorite Zelda of all time will still be Link to the Past. I love that game. There's just something about it. Yes, it was my first Zelda that really hooked me, because I never really got into Zelda on the NES. And we all know how bad Link 2 was. Link's Adventure.
That's so good, man. It's so bad it's good, man.
It's one, but it's one of those. It's one of those games,
it's one of
though,
those.
dude.
It's one of those, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so bad it's good, dude. Like,
yeah.
Like, it really got redeemed in Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. That was what hooked me.
Yeah, the
was
gold
Link to the Past, because that's when But that's when you had like the strategy guide. That's when you had the strategy guide, and like you actually could go on in the map and find items.
Yeah,
like that's what hooked me. Yeah, I loved it.
But even over then, I mean, I look at a lot of these games, and it's like Link Between Worlds is in my top 5 for the Zeldas. Wind Waker, right? There was so much backlash because of the animation style, and now
it is so great.
Now it's regarded as one of the best in the series, because people actually turned around and played it and was like, "Oh, really? It's a great game."
We were
playing
games.
People actually playing games instead of just judging
right?
them. And just like, oh, hey, the character is jacked up. Oh, man.
And you know what? The animation, when I first played that, I was like, this is kind of kiddie. But then when you actually play the game, you fall in love.
It don't matter.
With that animation style and the story and everything. And it's like,
bring it back.
I
bring
would
it back, Nintendo.
Give me Wind Waker, please.
Bring it back.
I will pay you for a collector's edition if you want to do it that way too.
I'll do that too.
Wind Waker.
I'll do that too.
Just give me Wind Waker. So when you look at the series,
actually scratch that. I choose collector's edition instead. I'll offer that first.
Right? Hey, can I get a theme? Can I get a Wind Waker?
Dude, or a themed statue for the collectors. Ooh. That'd be sick.
Him on the boat. Just
Oh, that'd be sick, bro.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but
come on, Nintendo.
You guys just need to chill out on that, man. Like, all your collector's editions, you're crazy.
No, see, Jason, here's the thing: is I like what the collector's editions they're doing for like with Tears of the Kingdom, where it's an art book and a steel book. I like those where it's a bigger steel book.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got the one for Metroid.
Or something
I like those.
Small.
Huh?
Or something that's this small.
For a cartoon.
It's not that small. Well, yeah, but
it's a presentation piece. That's the whole point of the collectors.
I love the art books because those are something I can share.
Oh yeah,
the love of art, and what it takes to actually make these games with the boys and the concept art
and all that stuff. And, like it's very, very noticeable. Like,
yeah,
no, I get you guys with that. I'm just saying, like, to have just it come out as a collectible or a collector's edition for like Wind Waker, dude, no, it's not. It's just
they made a collector's edition Wii U.
I'm just saying.
So
just saying,
it's just saying.
I don't know. Just saying.
That is true.
So, all right. So we all have.
I don't know.
So, one, what are each of your favorite Zelda? Two is, I know, Jason, you said you pretty much are. I know with pre-ordering for Tears of the Kingdom, you're more doing that for your wife than you.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we most looking forward to with Tears of the Kingdom on Friday?
I'll start since mine's going to be short. No, I am looking forward to, honestly, the whole the fusion system. Like that is going to be really interesting. I really want to see what people come up with more than like what.
Dude, people are gonna come up with some broken
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. That's why I'm honestly looking forward to seeing what they're going to come up with, because it's going to just be like, what the F is that, you know?
Well,
It's like,
And it's
did you
gonna be-
really?
thing
It's like, did you really just bring that piece from halfway across the map, like
Just-
across the globe to?
Well, the
build it
one
right
thing
there?
that they really focused on in the trailer was that they were mixing two different items together.
Oh yeah.
What I'm more interested
Oh.
in is in
No,
what
they added
happens
a
when
lot.
you put two of the same swords on the same condition together. Does that strengthen it, and does that alter its
Probably not.
appearance? Like,
Dude, I'm gonna
Who
see
knows?
just
I hope
how
it
many
does
jacked up
something.
weapons I can come up with.
Just
That's my
who
that's
knows?
my
Yeah,
take.
like
Yeah.
I want to see some really wicked stuff out there, and I'm just like, okay, I'm ready for that.
oh, dude, it's gonna be like cooking from Breath of the Wild. People are gonna be enamored with
No,
mixing
it's
up
going to be
weapons and
beyond
weapons.
it, man.
It's gonna be on cooking.
It's gonna
Oh,
be
you think
beyond
so?
cooking.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
you think so?
Yeah.
Just imagine how many
Probably,
hours Matt
yeah.
has put into Animal Crossing, and that's like fusing
Dude,
at all.
I don't
Okay.
I don't know whether to
okay.
feel
That's-
honored or
No, I'm
that
just
you're
saying,
personally
it's
attacking
gonna
me
be-
that I have that many
I'm not
hours on Animal
attacking you on this
Crossing.
one. I'm not attacking
it's a
on
good
this one.
it's a good comparison. It's a
'Cause, like,
quality
people
comparison.
can
Yeah.
spend hours
Hours
just doing
doing
like
it,
one
yeah.
thing, just literally just doing
I
one
mean,
thing.
I
to just
mean,
put
case
two
in
things
point,
together
I
all
did
day.
with the cooking feature
All
in Breath of the Wild.
day.
I just enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. All day. So I'm really,
It's gonna be-
really
yeah.
looking forward
Okay.
to seeing that. Like, and it's all glory. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. I doubt it will, but it's just going to be insane.
I
That's
don't
what
think
I'm
it will.
looking forward to
I
the
don't think it
most.
won't.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the most in tears. And then also, you know, like I haven't played that many Zelda games where I'm like from start to finish. You can't go wrong with the original. You know, it's dangerous to go alone.
Oh yeah.
Take- Dangerous to go alone. Take this, man. That's
Mhm.
it. And that's those
Yep.
those famous
Yeah.
words just start you off, and you're like, all right,
Mhm.
Yeah.
game on.
Matt, what about you?
So we already know my favorite, Link to the Past, right? And I could make an entire hour-long podcast and then some about just Link to the Past
Probably.
and everything, just what it means to me and everything. It hit right. For Tears of the Kingdom, we already know the weapon durability is back, so I'm gonna scratch that off my list on whether or not we see that come back. As much as I'm excited about fusion and seeing those mechanics, right, and what you can actually do with them, what enemy, guts and bones and all of that fused with arrows and stuff, what they all do. We already know there's the seeking arrows and stuff like that, but I want to see just how far we can go with that system, right? The one thing I'm most excited and worried about at the same time is what are we getting for dungeons? Are we going to just have like similar to Breath of the Wild where there was only really 4 plus Ganon, or are we going to get less shrines and more dungeons? So depending on where this whole story goes us, and I'm curious if we ever get to play as Zelda. Given what the trailer has shown, do we get to actually play as
That's a good
Zelda
one.
at some point?
That'd be interesting.
Oh, that's a good
so-
question.
To answer that, I think I feel that it's going to be more towards the
Momentary.
like the dungeons. It's not going to be
Mhm.
like, it's going to be shrine/dungeon where it's like one shrine, but then there's like a few dungeons that are around it to give you more.
Well, I heard the
Accessories or
rumor is
more
that
pieces of the
that
heart or
along
whatever.
with the fusing, they actually added for the game, like
Mhm.
an aspect of the games are considered the dungeons where they are challenging and puzzle driven,
Oh yeah.
where that's supposed to be like the puzzle aspect of the game. So they were listening to the fans in that way, but
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what
see.
that
Yep.
entails.
We
Yeah,
shall
we'll
see.
see.
Jerry, what do you What are you looking forward to?
Other than the fusing, of course, but my biggest thing, dude, what always drives me is story. I can't wait to see the story. Can't wait to see what unfolds. And I love the fact that
it combines all
yeah,
the storylines.
Right.
We don't have the multiverse.
Well, Breath of the Wild for me, but the other thing is I love the cosmetics, so we're going to see new outfits, new armor, new hairstyles, which is going to be cool. Yeah, dude, I'm just overall interested in the story, so that's always what drives me.
Overall,
I'm really interested and Ganon, like, dude, Ganon's here.
Ganon's getting
voiced by Matt Mercer.
Yeah,
dude, yes, absolutely.
And
I'm excited.
Finally, your all-time favorite Zelda.
All-time favorite? Well, it has to be OG #1. That's what I was introduced to. Link to the Past on Super Nintendo was the one that kind of definitively made me a fan. And then and it was Ocarina of Time which was like Zelda's it. Zelda's the man.
Yep.
But yeah. And then it just goes on from there. But yeah, I would say like my overall love would have to be Ocarina. Yeah. That was the one that really like drove me. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, with that, I want to thank you for crashing game night with us tonight. This is the first time you're tuning in, hanging out with us. Thank you for crashing with us tonight. Hopefully we brought you some laughs, a little distraction from the everyday grind. If you like what you heard, make sure to hit that subscribe button or head on over to crashinggamenight.com. Find us on the platform of your choice and follow us there. Content releases weekends. But I always say this every single week, and it's kind of hard to, especially with everything that's been going on in the US and the amount of shootings we've had in the last week and a half. Please, guys, just be excellent to each other.
That's right, all my nerds. Everyone, let's continue on the journey and continue on trying to be better and to try and exercise a little bit more patience, some kindness, and to lend out a helping hand here and there. Let's just try and be better, and also to send out more of a personal support to the Writers Guild, myself working in the film industry and also being a film fanatic. Writers need to be paid what they are owed and be paid what they are worth. And so please support them as well. And hopefully we'll get everything back and running and our TV shows and everything back up and running as well. But as long as demands are met for the writers. So show your support. And once again, nerds, just please be kind and be safe.
Definitely. No,
J-Bone.
Just a quick question though, Jay. We had it last week. Do you think it's what do you think on the over/under 100? Over/under.
How many days is this going to go? Yeah. What's your over/under? Is it going to last longer than 100?
Oh, for the writers' strike.
We put 100 because I think last one was like over.
Last one was 100. The prior one was 100. The one before that was 153.
Yeah. So you think over/under? Over/under.
You know what? I think this is going to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to go over. Only because the between the metrics of what they're going to have to like discuss for streaming and the deals that they're going to have to discuss and go back and forth, I think it's going to take longer than I think they expected.
Yeah.
Because they're going to, because the other side is going to fight. The studios are going to fight. Because they always want to pinch pennies. So I think it's going to go over. I'm going over.
Over? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
But yeah, thank you guys again. Shout out to Austin again. We saw you in chat. We miss you, bro. We miss you, bro.
Austin, baby.
Yeah. But as always, you guys, take care of yourselves. As we've been saying, support all the local communities. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody else. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your favorite Zelda is, But as always, as we close out the show, my man, my man is not here tonight, so I'm kind of sad about that. But I will
We'll
send
let
you
Jason
guys
send
out.
us
I
out.
will send you out tonight because
Send,
my man
send us
Jason
out the right
Valerio.
way.
Send us out like Theo does. Well, thank you again, guys. Till next time, TTFN. Ta for now.
Not everybody.
You lost the privilege, Jerry. You lost the privileges.
I was about to say that was a good deal, but now I'm taking that back.